The following is a presentation of Project Independence and WCWP. Project Independence is the Aging in Place initiative of the town of North Hempstead.
Welcome to Project Independence and You.
Good morning and welcome to Community Talk Radio. This is Project Independence and You on LIU Public Radio. I'm your host and producer, Kristina Liu, along with my co-host today, Otto Los and Paula Ewell. Paula and I work together at the Town of North Hempstead Services for the Aging, where I'm the Director of Senior Citizen Affairs, and Paula is the Deputy Commissioner. And Otto, what can we say about Otto? Volunteer, supporter, friend, the face of Project Independence. And today's topic is a topic we talk about very often. It is all about spring cleaning. And spring is the perfect time to refresh our homes. But for many older adults, spring cleaning can become much more than just tidying up. It's emotional and there's a lot of feelings involved. But it can be the beginning of an important transition. Joining today is Barbara Feldman, friend of the show, certified senior move manager, and founder of A New Start New York. And we're talking all things spring cleaning, downsizing, how seniors can make the process less overwhelming while creating a safer, more comfortable home. Barbara, thank you for being with us today.
Sorting is hard.
Yeah.
Downsizing is hard. Packing is really hard. It
Right.
is.
You talked about a cleaning personality somewhere along the line. I think that ties in a little bit with, are you the type that's going to do this, or are you the type that really needs somebody to do it for you?
Well, think about it. When you were born and you were a kid, how did you behave? Did you keep your things?
I wasn't. I personally will share the story, and if my mom was listening, she will like this, because I said everything went downhill when my brother came along, because I would, sit with my mom and we would count the pieces when we put it away. So I knew that all my little play sets, everything is where it was. And I had these things, my Sesame Street house was a very prized possession of me, and all the characters there. And then James came along, 9 years later, and then that was thrown right out the window. All the pieces were gone. And we laughed because it is a personality, because I look at my little nieces.
You still have that personality.
Yeah, I do. I look at my little nieces and stuff, and I was like, you guys are way more messy than I ever was.
Right,
There's just
probably have more
everywhere.
stuff too.
Well,
Yeah,
that's also
part of
probably
it.
true.
Yeah.
So I'm the oldest of four, and my sister and I shared a room, and my dad, when he came in and there was a mess, he always knew it was my sister.
Yeah.
And he took all this stuff. It was a done deal.
That's funny.
Yeah, I was always neat, putting, and it was always her. And she, she's a grown woman. She is, and my brother-in-law picks up.
Yep. No, but it's so
I
true.
hope you heard me.
It is a personality that you're born with. It's
I
very
think
true.
you do get examples. Like my parents both were, I would say, I wouldn't go over the top neatniks, but I would say they were organized. Like back when, my father always told me, if you take it from there, put it back to there, because
Into
then
its
you'll always
place.
find it.
Yeah.
And I've had that in my brain for all my life, really.
He was right.
And it's true.
If you're organized and you know what you're going into and you know where everything is, you put it back where it came from, you're ahead of the game. You don't have to be anxious. You could just walk in and approach life
Or say, where did I put that?
Right. Except when you live with people who move those things around. Unbeknownst to you, and then you can.
It is
having
true.
the matching style, right?
But I think it is, and it's something that I think we're also like, you're just constantly doing things. I always say this with my mom all the time, because she's always like, I have no idea, Kristina, I don't know where I put it, and that's like and I'm always like, I've like really mastered like, finding things too. It's like a specialty also. But, I said to her, it's because she's like, you're never paying like attention. So like, there's so much that goes into all these things, because, you're opening the drawer, you're shoving in the drawer, you're going to put this here. And then you're like, I laugh with her because she'll buy a birthday card and then be like, I can't buy it. She buys like a million months ahead of time. And then it's like, where did I put this birthday card? So it's.
Well,
we're talking
about personalities, whether you're an organizer personality. And I've worked with a lot of hoarders, and what I've found interesting is many of them know exactly where it is.
Right. Yeah.
That's actually.
They have so much, but they know exactly.
And they know if it leaves.
Yeah.
It creates great anxiety. Yes.
I was working with this guy in Manhattan, and he had, it was 10-foot ceilings, 8.5 feet of stuff.
Oh,
and it was so he was getting evicted. So it was, he had everything in black plastic bags, the whole apartment. And you didn't even know there was furniture underneath.
Oh my God.
And I had to leave and get a 40th birthday card. I remember I was leaving. I had to. He says, "Wait."
He had one.
I'll never ever forget this.
Yeah.
In the middle of all of these bags, and also something else I learned was he had a bag on top of the item. So the item itself is covered, and then there's another one protecting it on top, and another one
So there was like a
underneath.
system.
Yeah.
And he knew exactly where it was.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a whole nother topic if
Yeah.
you want to talk about.
Yeah, we
hoarders.
could certainly, like,
my
dive
Well,
into
I mean,
God.
I think what we're covering here is
Yeah.
like the do-it-yourself crowd. Like this is the stuff like we
Yeah.
all do
Yeah.
as part of life.
Yeah.
Is try to keep things under control, if you will,
Organized.
stuff under control.
Right.
So it doesn't take you over.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's probably part of it. And then we're hit with, you know, your end, which is there are many people who get into circumstances where they just can't do it and they need help from somebody such as you, who are a certified senior move manager.
I am.
How does that happen?
I went for certification. I'm trained. How to deal with people, how to help them, giving them tips. Like we've said, like one thing that I always tell people to get rid of things. If you can replace it in 20 minutes for less than $20, why are you storing it in your house? So that's what, you know, we've learned things how to, or like when you're trying to downsize, you put like with like, you put everything together, you know, pull out all your black pants or all your white sweaters and put them all together and say, oh, I have 19 of these. I really don't need them.
I just talked to my daughter about this morning. Literally this morning.
No, I was somebody that came back and he had something like 114 pairs of boxer shorts, you know, like, yeah. I mean, it's just amazing. People have so many.
Well, I know, like myself, you get a catalog from Land's End or
right.
LL Bean, and I say,
Ooh,
that's a
that looks
nice looking
nice.
shirt.
Right. Yeah.
And then I put that on the side, and I said, I think I'm going to go get it. But then I look in my closet, and I already have 40 shirts.
That's
Right.
it,
You know?
yeah.
So do I really need that shirt?
Well, how
or
about,
do I want that shirt?
can you get rid of something else and for
Yeah.
that shirt?
Yeah, which one am I going to get rid
I
of?
don't know. Maybe,
I don't think I take a lot of
maybe the same
like
color.
I mean, they're all so good, I can't get rid of them.
Well, that's another thing. You got to keep track of what you're wearing. You
That's
know,
a big one.
and-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially
and-
when you work and
Yeah,
you have to
right.
be dressed every day.
Yeah, you dress and then you turn the hanger around. You know, put the hanger facing you, and then when you wear it and you put it back, face it the other way so that you know at the end of the month what you've worn, what you haven't worn. And I always start like I always have a bag of donations going on.
Yeah.
in the
Same, me too.
closet.
Me too.
Me too.
You know, anything I'm going through, and I don't know, does your mom used to darn your socks? I don't think anybody
She did.
But I think like you could let go of socks, you let go of a lot of things because people need so much.
Well, I started a long time ago now, actually, with shirts and pants, putting what I last wore at the end and just working my way over so that when I see something that's all the way over on the right side, I probably haven't worn it in 5 years.
Right,
Because it
right,
never
right.
worked its way back over to this side.
Right,
you
that's
know.
a good system.
My closet's like,
Right. I was gonna say. I was gonna say, wow, everything's on a hanger. Wow. You don't have chairs, of course.
Or exercise equipment.
Right,
that
right.
you're
Yeah,
just
exactly.
using
I
for a
had
hanger.
Right.
not long ago. I cleaned out the garage, and I'm looking, and I see. I'm not exaggerating. Probably 100 of all kinds of different nails and screws. Not 100 in total. 100 of
each kind.
Because you can't buy one.
Yeah.
You got to buy a box. You got to buy whatever. So I said I must have had 20 pounds of nails and screws.
Yeah.
So I put it on the family Snapchat thing. I said, anybody want these? One of my son-in-laws took them.
There you go.
There you go.
But I haven't needed a screw or a nail that I missed.
And all this time.
And the
See?
whole time it's gone.
Theory is true.
Yeah, and if I need it, I'll go get it. Of course, there's an Ace not far from the house.
See?
No, it's true, but because that's your 20 minutes,
20
less
minutes.
than $20. Yeah,
Yeah.
That's that there. But I think that is, so important, and I'm glad you said, like, listen, I didn't even need that screw because I know that that's it, right? We get these things. You're saving. You're like, oh, well, they'll give
One
you
day.
extras. Right. I might need this.
Yeah.
I'm never going to know what screw came with my TV or whatever.
Yeah.
It's not like it's like really like labeled. It's just like, thrown in there and you're like, oh, I might, I
And
might
that's
grab
another
it.
thing. Like people say you buy something new and you have instructions. And people save the instructions for everything, right? Or like,
In 25 languages.
like, are you ever going to look?
It's
I
very
mean,
true. Because I always will just go online and like look it up
Yeah.
because half the time you're looking at the manual, you're like, I can't even find what I'm looking for. I'm going to YouTube.
Right. Or you're doing a chat because you really can't even find it online. Yeah.
No, but I do think that we're always on the show saying that these things can be so overwhelming. We're laughing and stuff, but we all have been there where it just feels like so overwhelming. And I think that the best way to approach everything, and I'll take Otto's, famous saying is that you could only eat an elephant one bite at a time.
Right.
So I think that it is important. I love how you come at this with small steps, and all these little small steps make such a big difference eventually, especially if you're a senior. It is overwhelming, and these things are very physically taxing. I'm always helping my parents, go through stuff and organize because it is hard, right? You got to like get in there and you're like, just trying to get all this in a nice thing. I'm the queen of buying something to keep things organized.
Right.
I love like some kind of container to keep things.
That's another whole thing. Right.
And that's something that actually you don't buy the organizing things until you downsize and figure out what
great.
you have.
That's a great point. Right. That's such a good point.
Because you buy all the, and then you're filling them up, and then honestly you're buying more stuff to fill them up.
Right.
Yeah.
You find out you got 12 storage boxes already.
It's very true. That's very true.
If you can start small and just give yourself start in a junk drawer. Oh my God, we all that's where all the instructions go and all the things you don't know when to put. So just give it 20, 30 minutes. Don't torture yourself. Try to be consistent about it. Just if you can schedule it, and then just keep going back, because if you start doing it and then I'm gonna you get stuck. Oh my God, you burn yourself out.
Yeah.
And you don't want to do that. So small, consistent steps is really the best way to go.
Yeah.
Junk drawer. Focus on one area at a time. This is for spring cleaning or for decluttering or for anything. Expires meds and foods are a very easy place to start. And then if we want to get into photos, there's businesses, there's photo organizers. I know many of them. And
That's a good topic, by the way, which we actually talked about before you got here.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
photo organizing. Yeah, I know people that do that.
Well, the world is changing rapidly, all right?
Yeah.
And paper printed photos were what you had earlier on. And then as time marches along, you digitize. Hopefully you did digitize, and if you didn't, that should be a major step in your plan. But we are all saying now the next level of people in your department is going to be digital clutter, which is, huge. We all have so much stuff.
Right.
You can't see it. It's not like your garage or your attic or whatever.
It's in the cloud.
It's there.
No, and it can still cloud
Well, you got 20,000 photos. Now what?
Yeah.
Nobody
Well,
can possibly
don't
look at
you
them.
ever get warning, you need more storage?
That's
because-
exactly what we were talking about. And
Right?
Yes, clearly you've been on my phone now.
Well, do you get involved with that type of thing at all?
I know people that do that. Yes.
Yeah.
I can help.
Yeah, I'm curious as to what, like we were saying, is a real need. Like you have 20,000 photographs,
Yeah,
right?
pointing at me. If you're watching us on
It's-
YouTube, Otto actually directly pointed to me.
Well, it's humanly impossible to see all 20,000 pictures. You don't have enough time. You really don't.
Not only the pictures that you've collected, but like somebody I was working with recently, and they had their whole house covered with small photos of their grandchildren and their family. And like, what do you do with all of these? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, guys, hold that thought because we're going to jump back in because we could talk about photos for a whole segment. After the break, we will continue talking with Barbara Feldman, certified senior move manager and founder of A New Start New York, all about spring cleaning and decluttering. You're listening to Project Independence and You on LIU Public Radio.
WCWP is your home for great music and great conversation. You'll find all that and more on WCWP.org. Listen live on the web, check out the lineup, subscribe to podcasts, and stay up to date on the latest station events. Get in touch with us and let us know if you like what you're hearing. And find out how you can support or get involved at the only community public radio station serving Nassau's North Shore. Plus, sign up to get a free bumper sticker. It's all online at WCWP.org.
Welcome back to Project Independence and You on LIU Public Radio. I'm your host, Kristina Liu, along with my co-host today, Otto Los and Paula Ewell. And we're jumping right back in with Barbara Feldman, certified senior move manager and founder of A New Start New York, all about spring cleaning and decluttering. And before the break, we were talking about, photos on the wall. And we've talked about this too. I was the queen of making scrapbooks. I mean, you don't get more photo obsessed than myself. So there's a bazillion albums that I had and my mom had. I mean, we have a lot of albums in our two-family house. And then, when you used to get things printed, you'd get the extra set.
Yes.
Oh, that's what I found.
The
Like,
negative.
So then
and
like you have all this.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's something that, and for many, many years, and that's actually on my list, was to really get rid of those things, because you're like, because it's you sit there like, wait, do I have this picture? I literally was just having this conversation with my mom because she was cleaning out her office at her job, and she was like, do we have this picture somewhere else? Like, I was like, I think so you get like this panic. But what I did, what I've been doing, which adds to the digital clutter, but at least not the physical clutter, was taking a picture, of these things and then, getting it.
So now you basically shifted it from one
I
pile
shifted it, right.
to
So at least
another
it's not
pile.
right. Yeah. But it's like, in doing that, I had mentioned, and I do make use of my photos, I have to say, like,
do.
I had and especially when I'm like the keeper, between my friends, my family. It's like, Kristina, do you have this picture from, whatever,
And you keep scrapbooks.
And it's, so that,
And
and that was
beautiful.
so hard for me because I needed to like stop doing that because they were huge, right? Beautiful, stunning, really
Every
therapeutic,
vacation,
right?
we got to
It
see
was so
every
nice.
restaurant you
Right.
went to.
But they're like,
menu.
they're like a massive book,
Right.
And I do love a keepsake, it's tough. And I said, I've gotten better as I've gotten older, with getting rid of things. And even like last night, my friend for my birthday, just had a birthday not that long ago, got me this beautiful little like jewelry holder. So I wanted to clear space on it for my thing. And I had all these rings in this like dish. And I was like, and these weren't expensive rings, So I sat there. I said, Kristina, what are you saving these rings? They are tarnished.
Right,
It is
right,
time. I had like a whole talk with myself.
Right.
I said, we're just going to get rid of it. And it was so nice because it cleared up, and
so-
now
it's
you can
such a good
see the,
feeling.
yes. And I
So
was like,
I'm going to stop you there because the one I talk all the time about how things aren't worth anything anymore,
Yes.
because it's the next generation they're not buying. The one thing that is worth a lot
Is jewelry.
Yeah.
including costume.
Yeah, I learned that the hard
They
way.
even
When I was
costume
cleaning
jewelry?
out, I gave away
Yes.
big,
Yeah.
like the jewelry boxes that are on the wall.
Yes.
My sister just had them and she loved costume
Yeah.
jewelry. I just, all the aides that,
Yeah.
and the neighbors
They
came
all
in,
took-
I said, please take it. Anyone that came in
Yeah.
the house, I
Yeah.
said, please just
Yeah.
take
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
Anything you want.
Yeah,
just
yeah,
take
because
it.
it's so much, right?
Yeah. But then someone did
But
told
there
me
is
after
value.
the fact
There
that,
is value.
you should
in-
have saved
in
that.
costume, and many times in your costume you have real
Mixed
jewelry,
in,
mixed in.
yeah.
like real gold mixed in.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Where do you go to determine, like, what do you suggest? Like,
Call
I
me.
brought a
What
bag.
is jewelry really worth?
Yeah, no, I bought a
With
bag
an
home.
honest
I don't know
appraisal.
what I
Call
got.
me. And then, do you know about Google? Oh, I don't work for Google, but can I say? Yeah, I guess so. Google Lens. Do you know on
I do.
so
Yeah.
on
you take a,
on
Oh, you take a picture.
no so on the scroll bar there's a little camera and
Right.
it's Google Lens, and you press on that and it says tell me about this image,
Right.
and it tells you like where it's from, what it's worth, and so that
wow,
that
that's
can
great.
help you a lot.
it's
very
time. It takes
helpful.
time, but it is good.
Yeah, but
Very
that's,
good.
when you don't know
Yeah.
what to do, like, I
I
have
mean-
plastic baggies of
Yeah.
things wrapped in
Yep.
paper towels.
Right.
Put in a plane and then just put away when I got home because this isn't
Well,
priority.
yeah, but as a non-jewelry person, to me, that's always been an area, there's some shady stuff that goes on, because how do you really know that thing is worth something? So you can't
Well-
trust.
Well, the
think it's
gold,
gold.
Yeah.
and silver,
And silver.
you weigh.
Right.
You know,
Right,
that
right.
is absolutely,
concrete,
and
yeah.
it's concrete. and
I
it-
think when you were on this show, you might have had somebody who knew about watches.
yeah.
And I had a person, I think you recommended, actually came to my house.
I think I remember that.
And, yeah, this is 4 years
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah.
And actually sold them the watches.
Ah,
Yeah.
that's great.
I remember now.
I know. Barbara's always like, I got a guy. I got a guy.
Yeah, she's like, I got a guy who does that.
No, I call myself a solution provider.
Yeah.
There you
People
go.
ask me for all kinds of stuff, and
Yeah.
like either I know or I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that is so, and also one of my favorite methods that you've talked on the show is this three pile method. So what is the
Yes.
3 pile?
Oh, so whether we're keeping it, right? Because you want to keep it, it's important to you. Whether you want to donate it, that's if it's possible to sell or donate, and then the final one is trash. That's your 3 piles.
Would also like the one pile sell or donate could be give to family,
That could, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Because we tried that, and you pointed out about dishes earlier. Nobody wants the dishes. We got my mother's dishes.
No.
Yeah.
My
If-
I have
wife's
a lot of
mother's
dishes,
dishes.
too.
So there's a website. It's called replacements.com.
Yeah.
Replacements.
Replacements.com.
Replacements.com for any kind of and I believe they're in South Carolina, North Carolina, and they so people that have dishes and use them, they're looking to fill in something.
So you have a whole set.
Yeah.
With however many you need.
So that's where you can get rid of your dishes.
But you know what's interesting? That's another thing that takes time. So all these things take time.
Right.
You know, everything.
But I think that goes back to, Barbara's initial point is like you have to like start small, with
gotta
the task.
have a
Because I know myself,
plan.
I get it because listen, I have list upon lists about like the things that I want to get done, and the list just keeps growing. And, especially in your house, we were like, I'm always like trying to, like just refresh, and there's been so much going on. And you just like need like, something like cleaned
Yeah.
out and stuff. But I can have the tendency to be like, okay, I want to clear out, this cabinet over here, but then wait, I should also clean out this
Right,
cabinet
right.
over here. My husband laughs. He's like, "What are you? You're like, you're all over the place."
No.
And I really do think if you hone in, you're so much more likely to accomplish it.
You also feel better about
Right.
it. You can see what's
Yes.
been done.
Right, yeah.
I mean, I dare you to go home and go to your junk drawer and dump it all out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I have to say,
sort
because
through it.
you've been on the show, and I'm really not just saying this, is that something that I always, like, when I'm just feeling, I'm like, I'm going to go through this junk drawer. And it's really, like, manageable thing. And I,
you
no,
made me so
no,
happy.
really, I really mean it, Barbara. There's things on the show, like, that I've, for all these years, that you kind of just, like, carry. And it is something that, and you could see it just get done. And you're like, okay, cool.
We did something comparable with medications and whatnot. This bathroom, that bathroom, medicine cabinet, pantry, put it all on a dining room table.
Yeah. And then
That's
you have,
Find
then
out
you
we've
have
got
to clear
4
it.
aspirin,
Yeah.
4 Coricidins,
Right.
whatever, and then buy another one because you can't find the one.
Or it expired.
Or it
That
expired.
happens a lot in
But
my house.
I do want to, as you're sorting through, keep in mind that we really use 20%
Yeah.
of what we have.
Yeah.
That means the space in your house. I mean, do you really use the basement? Do you use the attic? Do you use it,
No, because it's filled with stuff.
Right. But 20%, and we end up wearing the same clothes,
Right.
that you used
Right.
to, the same clothes, the same
That are
shoes.
comfortable,
the
right.
same dishes, the same. So if you think about that you really are only using 20%, it's not so painful. You've already downsized. Get rid of the rest of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Please don't buy any more mugs. No mug
I
gifts.
know. And it's
I
hard.
have
It's
a
so
whole
hard
box of mugs to
because
donate,
it is.
and my
Same.
daughter's like, "No, that
I
one." I'm like,
know.
"Nope, Sophia, we're going."
No, you know
mugs
what's
are going.
horrible? You know, I came up.
They
and,
are
and
memories.
they're not. You know, obviously, I think people have realized, you know, that these things take up space. But you know, I remember when we first moved in our house, and my friends were having babies, and I have so many mugs that my friends gave me with like their kids all over them.
Yeah.
I said, I can't throw this out.
Right.
And it was like every year, and I was like, oh my god, like what am I gonna do with all these mugs? And that was something during COVID that like I had the time to like really like organize my mugs because I get it. Listen, I love a mug.
And now they're all under my kitchen counter. Like you can't see them,
right.
but they take up an entire shelf. And every time I get something out from under them, I'm like,
I love mugs
what
though.
am I doing with these mugs?
I know.
It's just like this.
I know, and I use
psychological-
like the same mug.
Me too. I like the same one or two.
I know.
20%. That's it.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, there's an area like mugs, beer mugs,
Yeah, those
coffee
things
cups.
like
Grandpa's the greatest.
I got
you
a
know,
lot of.
all
I have a lot of cocktail glasses.
Grandpa's the greatest.
all those kinds of
Can't let
cups.
that one go.
Yeah.
But you get down, then you get into like what I call memorabilia.
Right. Yes. Oh,
Two
I have those.
specific examples. I still have my Navy uniform.
Oh.
I still fit in it.
gotta
I
keep
actually,
He's
that
like,
out.
not to brag or anything.
I actually took a picture 4 years ago.
Wow.
I have a baseball uniform. I played a lot of baseball. And I'm thinking to myself, does anybody really care about this uniform?
Yeah.
Yes, I
You
do.
do.
I want to say I
I
totally
do, yeah. But if
Yeah,
I'm not
your
here
kids.
anymore, does anybody really
Yes.
care?
Otto,
Are you
I'm putting it
kidding
on
me?
the record. You heard it here. I care about your uniform.
Christina wants your
Yes,
uniform.
yes.
She wants it.
Yes,
She'll do
I
something
will,
with
yes.
it. Yes, that's it. So we answered that question.
Yes.
Now you can like.
Well, then if you have more than one family member who wants it,
oh, well, then that's another story.
Then you'll have
Otto.
to cut it
Yeah.
out.
Then you gotta split the baby. That's that when they make something out of
No,
it.
it's really.
But just keep like a small thing, you know. I
Right.
mean, a uniform. Okay, that's not.
That's not that
but
big, right.
Don't keep the hutch, you know,
Right.
or like
Right.
people want like so much that you know. This was my grandparents, you know, and that's
Right.
wonderful. But
Right. That's what. That's what I'm.
Yeah,
getting
And
great.
it's, I think, back to what you said with memorabilia, that is something, I laugh because I said, like, ever since I was a little girl, like, I love a gift shop. I love collecting, I said I collect patches, I collect pins. There was always like some kind of little thing. And I try to find, we had talked about this, Barbara, a couple of weeks ago. My husband and I, we're on our travels. We're always like getting, postcards, whatever it might be, it's like, but then like, what are you doing with these things?
Yeah.
So
I love
we
a
had-
good gift shop.
we
You
s-
can't walk past.
Please,
the
I go to the
shop.
gift shop before I do the activity, and we put it on the dining room table, all like the stuff that we had, and like together we made like a really cool thing for our wall of all of our travels. So this at
That's
least
really
it's like,
nice,
and
yeah.
you get to like actually utilize it because a lot of times I'm buying these things and it just sits in a basket, and
Yeah.
with hopes of something. But I do think that it's hard, and I can imagine in your kind of field is like there's probably so much like talking through the item,
Right,
You know,
right.
because with this memorabilia, it's like what do you do, especially when you like. I mean, I have like a bazillion Beanie Babies.
Yeah.
I grew up
Right.
in that time.
Right.
So I
gazillion.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's like a whole lot. So it is something hard.
And those are hard because like kids' toys and things like that, you can't always give them away because people are very sensitive.
Right,
You know,
yeah.
somebody could have drooled on them.
right.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. No, you
Possibly.
can't donate them.
Yeah. So those things are hard.
So where would
Yeah.
you begin? Like if
Right.
someone like has a collection of whatever it might be, like how do you like?
Go to the Google Lens, see if it's worth anything, like Hummels, Yadros, anything like that. See if it says it's worth anything, and then if it is worth anything, then you got to find a place to sell it to.
yeah, you'd always need a buyer.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's key.
Yeah.
Right. Which is why, I tell people over and over, you have to think of the people that are setting up their homes and are having for their children.
Yeah.
What are they buying? What are they
Right.
using? And it keeps changing. They don't want any of this glass.
Right,
They
right,
don't
right.
want any of the things that people have collected all these years. They don't
want
want
it,
it.
yeah.
So therefore, the market's not there. If it's
Right.
not,
It's like supply and demand.
And I
Yeah.
think if there is a market, I think part of the people who respond are people who are buying to resell.
Yeah.
They're in the business of looking for bargains so that they can resell it at a better price, really.
Well, God bless if they can find a place to resell it to,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Really.
well, that's true.
I mean, it used to be, I'm doing this 19 years, it used to be, we could sell a lot more in the South, more formal things like linens
Right,
and
yeah.
things like that, and now they don't even want, you know?
Right, yeah,
I mean,
because there's so much available.
Yeah.
There's so many stores and thrift shops and high-end thrift shops, which I love down south. But I have a very random thing. I have a Christmas ornament of when the New York Mets won the World Series in 1986. And it's, last year I was so proud of myself. When I did Christmas, I went through Christmas ornaments because I'm married almost 40 years.
Oh my
and
God,
every
the
year there's
amount
another
of-
box.
oh my God.
You know.
And I also
unlike-
love a Christmas
unlike-
ornament,
I know.
so I- you know, that's-
Christina has given me quite a collection. But
I've
I'm like,
decorated
I gotta
everyone's
start
tree.
getting rid of some of,
Go
you
to
know.
Google
And my
Lens.
daughter just didn't want,
Yeah.
oh, that's
Yeah.
nice, Mom, you know, whatever. But, you know, this one ornament, I didn't even put it with the, like, I put it on the side in a drawer, and I'm like, you know, do I really need this? Like, I'm never going to put it on my tree.
Yeah.
Like, I put my kids' college, you know, I
Yeah.
put the pets'
Right.
pictures, but this ornament is not ever going on my tree. So, like, do I just give that to a thrift store?
take a picture.
Take a picture.
Yeah.
So you'll have it with
Yeah,
you,
yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And, give it to
Give it to a thrift, yeah.
yeah, or
Because
church,
I'm like,
or,
why do I
you know,
think like
yeah,
anyone wants
yeah,
this World
yeah,
Series?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I have a lot of old stuff, like I'm going back.
That's not that, yeah.
1964, I have the first program
The World's
of the
Fair?
Met game.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
First
wow.
Met game at 64.
Oh, wow,
I
that's
have
big,
a bunch
Otto.
of stuff like that. The first Jet game. You know,
That should be
I have
worth
a
money,
box
I would
full
think.
of that stuff.
Yeah.
That's the thing too,
So
you know,
the
and
same
like
collectibles,
newspapers. That's
yeah.
you know, that's
But
my
you
brain
just
is going.
hit the bit that, you know, I'll go to Google Lens, take
Mm-hmm.
an hour or two to take a few shots and find out, is it worth $1, $2?
Right.
Is it worth the trouble?
Right.
You know?
Right, that's
Right.
what
And
it
if
is.
not, frankly,
sell-
I'll
it's-
pass it along to some grandsons,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe 50 years from now, it'll be worth a couple bucks.
But I think that you know that goes into
if
you know
they want to
books,
hold on to
like
it.
books and magazines
Oh,
and
that's a big one.
newspapers. You know,
That's a
so
hard
many
one.
people do. So like, where do you begin with those?
so
kind of things?
books,
Yeah.
I have a great book. I have for kids' books. I have a great organization for that, and for regular books, so-called. They come, they buy.
So the book fairy, are they still?
Book fairies are still around. Yeah,
Oh,
that's who
okay.
I was talking about. They're
we used to
wonderful.
Yeah.
collect for them.
And then
Our office.
and then there's this other guy, Sag Harbor Books, and he you hear me, Greg? So they actually come and they pick up the books
Oh, wow.
and take them away.
Yeah, because I think that's something that you know
and
certainly
and distribute it, yeah.
Yeah.
Because books, papers, people just have, you know. And when it comes down to moving, that's all weight. It's, you know,
heavy.
heavy
Yeah,
books.
that was
Listen,
one of the
I
hardest.
you know I used to save as a teenager. You know, I was big on the magazine. You know, of course, I had a crush on every boy band in the world. Still do. And I would save these magazines.
Well, I had the Beatles.
Yeah. See? Yes.
yeah, right.
Similar things.
Yeah.
You know, and you would save these magazines because it was like, so would it be like, is anyone in the market to actually buy these magazines, or is it just not?
If they're in,
Yeah.
there are collectors. If they're in good shape, that's key.
Yeah, I have some of that Life magazine from back in the 40s and whatnot, but they're not worth as much as I
No,
would think they
they're
would.
not.
And
be
they
worth.
are so heavy, when you're saying,
Yeah.
I mean, like these things,
Yeah.
like, you're like, oh my gosh, like this
Paper's
really,
heavy.
like really adds up.
I
So
mean,
do-
years ago, everybody had encyclopedias.
Oh,
right
yeah.
now.
Right.
Yeah. And they're worth about a quarter.
Not even.
No.
Not paper. Yeah. But you have to really keep asking yourself as you're going through
Yeah.
this one room at a time.
Yep.
That has to do with spring cleaning, has to do with decluttering, has to do with life every day. But it's like, do I need this?
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Or Otto, you asked before,
Really,
is
what
it
do I
just
want?
something that I want?
Yeah.
Right.
And then if I get rid of it, can I replace it with something else, right? Does it make real sense for me to hold on to
Right.
this?
Right.
And store it in my house.
Yeah.
I think like an older category like me, you also question, would any of your children or your grandchildren be really interested in this, or are they just going to look at it and throw it out? Because what may be important to you
Yeah.
is like of no importance at all to them at this age. When you get older, that's when you start to look
Yep.
back and say, geez, I wish I would have asked
and that's a problem. I've been thinking about
yeah.
that forever.
Right.
But we have to take a break. After the break, we will continue talking with Barbara Feldman, certified senior move manager and founder of A New Start New York, all about spring cleaning and decluttering. You're listening to Project Independence and You on LIU Public Radio.
Take WCWP with you wherever you go with the WCWP app. Listen live 24/7 to all of our streams, all from one app. Plus, call the studios directly from the app and visit our social media. Download the app through the iOS App Store on Apple devices or the Google Play Store on Android by searching WCWP Radio, or visit WCWP.org for links. The WCWP app, available now on iOS and Android devices.
Welcome back to Project Independence and You on LIU Public Radio. I'm your host, Kristina Liu, along with my co-host today, Otto Los and Paula Ewell, and we're diving right back in with Barbara Feldman, certified senior move manager and founder of A New Start New York, about spring cleaning and decluttering. And it's always just so informative. You know, on top of the notes that Barbara sent over, I'm writing more notes on top of those notes. So I'm going to go home with a lot of stuff. But I do think these are really concrete golden nuggets. And I think anyone that's listening, you know, to take, you know, whatever you could take from this, to certainly incorporate into your life. And, you know, I do think, you know, with spring also, and I liked one of your tips, and it was just about like freshening up your space, because I do think when you have too much clutter around, it can be so overwhelming. You know, I know in my life, like the best time for me to declutter is like when I'm feeling, you know, personally things are going on or whatever it is, because you just need something to kind of be right. And it's just, you know, you said just like freshen up your space, you know, like open the windows, you know, and just get that space. And it's just, I think, especially when you're older, like to just clear your mind from those things is so beneficial, you know, for your health, right?
So when do you think it's time, like that you say, okay, this is it. I'm in a circumstances, a situation here where I surrender. I can't do this myself, and I need to go to somebody like you. What would be the lead into that? Why should I go to you?
So I want to point out, while you were talking, all this clutter is just postponed decisions.
Yeah.
So if you can't make those decisions, just like anything else in life, you need help. So if you start with that one room and you're giving yourself the 30 minutes and you schedule it for 3 days a week or 2 days a week, and you keep coming back and I can't do this, then call me.
Yeah.
Right. But then are there circumstances where we've all been through, maybe somebody dies within the family and now you are the keeper of the keys.
You're the executor, right?
Executor, family member, whatever. And you're now supposed to be the one who takes care of cleaning up something that somebody didn't do anything about for 40 years.
Yeah.
All right. You know, your old Con Edison bills going back 35 years is still there, which I've had that situation.
Me too.
Now, but I live in Portland, Oregon, and my older person's house is in Long Island. Now what?
So I'm a certified relocation and transition specialist, and I'm a member of NASM, the National Association of Senior Move Managers. So I know people all over the country. So, I mean, if somebody called me, I have one coming up, they're in California, they have a house in Flushing, what do? So they're going to come in and I'll meet them, walk them through, we'll set up a plan, what needs to be done, and that we'll get them out of the house, and so that they can sell the house and go back to California.
Now, typically when you do something like this, I'm not going to ask you the exact numbers, but you're not in a charity business. You're a professional who does this to make a living,
Correct.
right?
Yes.
How would that work? Would it work by the hour? Would it work by a plan?
It's by the hour, and generally I can come in and do a consult for an hour, maybe two, give them what they need, and then after that they have to pay for whatever services they need.
Right.
Whether
okay.
it's
So
clean
you
out or
develop a
moving
plan at that point in terms of how we're going to go about getting rid of this house, get the stuff out of it. Okay.
And then do you bring in people, Barbara? So you have people you work with to come into it?
That was probably Adam that I sent in to you, right? Was it Adam? a couple years ago?
I wish I could remember.
Okay.
At least it was a success
But it was
story.
I do
Successful.
remember sitting at my dining room table with all these watches with him there. All right. And I remember, okay, this sounds good.
Yeah.
Take the watches.
Yeah, that's probably Adam.
I'm out of here. You know, because what was I doing with the watches before that? They were laying in a box, and I kept looking at them, saying, I have to do something with these.
It was such a great resource. You know, you were talking before. So I had recently where I moved someone 2 years ago from their house to assisted living. She packed up what she wanted.
Yeah.
And 2 years later, the son contacts me, we have to move her again. And he lives in Vancouver, so he's coming in to go through if there's anything that,
Right,
you know,
right,
like...
to keep, yeah.
Yeah, to keep. And he says, you know, I found a bag of jewelry. So this is in assisted living for 2 years. I brought my guy in. He weighed. He went through everything. This was 9:30 in the morning. By 12:30, they had a bank transfer into their account for $100,000.
Oh, my
Oh my
God.
good Lord. Wow.
You imagine? Yeah. Oh, I believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think that, you know, and that's probably, you know, I would say moving and like relocating is like usually like the best time to like get, because then you really like, especially when you're downsizing, you don't have that space, right? So if you're going, you have no
Right.
choice but to go through those things. And I think that that's the case with probably so many of our seniors because
Yeah.
you just don't even know what's
Right.
Yeah.
And to get
What's
that
there.
money,
Right,
which
yeah.
could be like a
Well,
life-changing
to me,
amount of
jewelry
money.
is a huge mystery. And, you know, I mean, I could look at it and have no clue.
Right.
So you have to trust somebody.
You have to get an
All right?
expert.
Yeah,
just
you have
like
to,
you were
but you have to
saying when-
trust who you're dealing with.
Right,
all
right.
Because I see when it's like that, it's very easy for people to take advantage of a situation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, in a lot of different things that you deal with in life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
getting people who you trust are going to give you
Yeah.
an honest review
Yeah.
is very important.
And it
you
can
know.
be very different. Like we had, you know, when we were doing my sisters and we found all this silver, we had 3 different people come in, and one came in with a scale, one came
Right.
in just with his eyeball, and
Right.
and the prices went like $300,
Yeah.
$400 in range difference.
Yeah.
So at the end, you know, luckily the person that's going to help clean everything out was the best one.
You know, I
and they
always
send
found-
it somewhere where they get a better buy or something. I was like, you know, it's such a mystery. Like you
well,
really don't
jewelry's-
know.
When you buy it, it's expensive, and when you try to sell it, it's not so expensive.
Well, furniture's worse. Furniture, you
yeah,
buy it and
yeah.
then there's like no resale.
Worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'd love Barbara to go through. You had sent over a bunch of like repurposing ideas and tips. So I know we've touched upon some of them, but I think it's a really great list that people could kind of congregate. So let's go through that. I love that.
Okay. So we talked about dresses and clothing. So locally, there's the Roslyn Junior League. They
Yeah,
they
that's great.
take a lot, right? And then we were talking about photos.
Yeah, that's the one that kills me. I think.
Yeah, go through
If it were just a box of print photos, that's not such a big deal. If it's 20,000 digital, because each generation is going to get much more digital. You know, like 20 years from now, if we were all sitting here, we'd be talking about somebody having 40,000 digital photos. And
Who
now
knows
what?
what's going to
I
be.
mean, I took like 10 pictures of my dog just before I left the house of him sleeping.
You
know
must
what I
have,
mean? So-
I'll bet you have 3,000 pictures
Oh,
of these.
more.
Maybe
I
more.
know, way more.
There's
I've
way
seen
more.
3,000
Yeah,
of
there's
these
way
pictures.
more.
Me too.
There
So
is
what
way
kind
more.
of storage do you have?
Well, that's the thing is that I have a lot of storage that I pay extra for, you know.
She has it out in
and-
the
yeah.
garage. She has a whole big.
Yeah. This is just on my phone
She has
alone.
a server
yeah.
farm in her
But
backyard.
it is true, you know, and I think it's one of those things that can get like unmanageable really fast because,
Yeah.
you know, I love taking photos. I come from a family, you know, I had set up photos. My grandpa was a photographer. It's like, you know, I really see the value in taking photos and stuff, but I do believe that, you know, you need to really look through and say, all right, this is the best shot, you know, and that's what I've been trying to do is, you know, I'll hard it and be like, okay, this is the this is the golden shot, you know. But when it comes to my dog, it's very hard. 'Cause I'm like, oh, they're all so cute. How do I even choose? But I do think so. What are some photo tips?
So photos, like throw out landscapes.
I agree.
What?
Same story. I was in the Navy. I took 1,000 pictures of this church and that church
Right.
and all this stuff. And I'm thinking to myself, anybody who wants to see that church can get a picture.
Yeah, or that
So I threw
mountain,
out
or
all of
that.
those.
Oh, that's enough.
How
I got,
many
I got a lot of
right,
pictures of beaches and mountains. Big landscape girl.
Yeah, it's a nice beach scene.
Nobody knows. You don't even
Yeah.
know what they are.
Yeah.
So start with then pick 3 of them with
3.
people for each holiday,
Oh.
an event.
I can barely narrow it down to 20 for my Instagram post,
Okay,
you know?
so now you're going to go through your 20,000 pictures.
Starting to
with
sweat
that
here, guys.
With that checklist.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Well, we'll give it a go.
And we'll see you here in probably
That's right.
3 or 4
Yeah.
years.
Yeah, exactly.
We know where you are.
Yeah.
And you
So-
still have pictures left.
So you're gonna pick 3
Okay.
with
We're
people
going to pick 3 with people.
for each holiday and event.
Okay.
Kristina, I'm watching her face.
You're sweating.
No, but it's really something that I think we can relate to, you know, because like I could like literally, you know, with my phone, there's no stopping you. So I could take, you know, obviously when you had like a camera or film, you had
You had to
limited
pay to
choices,
have it
right?
also, right.
Right. This is like boom, 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 boom. You know, there's, you know.
You had to go to Bob's Photoshop with
Right.
your reel.
Yeah.
Right.
Your film.
Right. And
Absolutely.
you didn't get it right away.
Yeah.
No,
You know,
it took a week or 2.
Right.
And maybe you didn't have any
And maybe
double
they came out
exposures.
good, and maybe they didn't. That's the other thing.
I did
you know?
bring out a digital camera for my birthday last weekend though, and
Great.
we weren't taking any, and it was actually like made less photos. We still took plenty, but
Okay,
it was
right.
certainly less, and it was like nostalgic, you know.
Yeah.
So it's different things you could do.
After you go through and pick out holidays and events, you pick the best shots. Okay. And then you're going to scan them and store them. That's what she's been doing.
That's the print.
We're gonna,
She stored them already.
okay.
storing's not a problem.
We talked about replacements.com.
And it didn't take up
Oh
any-
yes, replacements.com. That's, yes.
Replacements.com. We talked about that. It's a website.
Now is that just for like plates and serveware kind of things, or?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, fill-ins.
Okay.
Antiques, furniture, things like that. Call me directly.
How do you
'Cause,
know what is
Right.
an antique?
Right.
Again, try the Google Lens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you think it's old.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
I know, because that's true too. It's like, you know, how do you even?
yeah.
you
Whether
know,
it's
right.
decor or whether it's truly old.
Yeah.
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 Greeting cards.
Ooh, it's another one.
I just threw out 2 boxes.
That was my
Ouch.
biggest thing to
So-
throw out at my sister's. Like,
Yeah.
because every
I have,
charity
right,
she
there's,
gave
like-
to, and labels, address labels.
Because
just
that's something that, you
wild.
know, I've done in shifts, because I also like I love a greeting card. I love giving cards. I love getting
Yes.
cards. And, you know, and I'm glad, because I do think it's important, because there are times when someone has passed away and you're really happy that you saved that greeting card. You know, so I do believe in that as well. But I was like limiting. So I was like, you know, there were certain people who, you know, are not in my life anymore. You know,
Right,
obviously if
right.
it's something that from my grandma
Yeah,
or, you
yeah.
know.
Yes, that's a hard
and
one.
my mom, my dad, you know, Jay.
Some people
I have a
you
whole
don't even
separate box of
remember.
just Kristina J cards, and I've been with my husband for like 24 years, so it's a lot of cards.
Right.
And sometimes I've given 2 on holidays, you know. But that is something that I think is
Yeah, that's a big one.
is a tough.
So the
Pill to
same
swallow.
thing with the greeting cards, you know, like we mentioned with the photos, like break it down to holidays, events.
Yes.
Take 3.
Yeah.
Take the best ones. You know, like don't keep everything.
Well, you mentioned save addresses, and I remember with my mother several address books
Me too. I
that
just-
were handwritten back in those
Yeah.
days. And now you have the same story. You have contacts,
Right.
and that could get out of control. You know?
Yeah.
Well, I have my Christmas card list, and that's like this, and that's a hot list amongst everyone I know too, because that's another thing everyone comes to me for. Kristina, what's so and so's address? What's this one?
Right.
But like now I have like a digital file, because I had so many address
You are
books
the
too.
master organizer.
I
she
try.
is.
I try.
Well,
I'll
greeting
accumulate
cards
all
is
things.
another topic. I mean, what used to be everybody sent greeting cards. Now it's either a text message or
Right.
an email or
Right.
Evite or,
Right.
you really, and I'm going right along with the crowd now.
Just not even realize that's what happened to me recently.
I mean, Paul and I really like to give each other. We have a lot of cards over the years too.
Yeah,
Paul and
I have a
give
drawer
each
full of
other.
Kristina. Yeah. and on my bulletin board. And my refrigerator.
We get really pretty cards. What
big
can we
drawer.
say?
No, my office drawers. Like Christina's cards. But then some are on the
Christina
bulletin
drawer.
board. Yeah, and her pictures from Christmas.
I have a
It's gonna
Christina.
go from the drawer to a tub.
Right. Yeah.
I have a Christina drawer.
I think anyone in my life has a Christina drawer.
Oh,
It's
wow.
like, my friends all laugh because they're like, "You've decorated my whole house." I
Yeah,
said, "Well,
you
I'm
know,
really
it's
glad I
important.
spread that touch around." But
That
These
is,
are-
it's warm and loving,
is.
and
It's-
and that's the important things to
Yeah.
save. The
Right.
things that really have those kind
Yeah.
of memories, but not all of them.
yeah,
Yeah.
you're right.
Okay.
Number 6 is interesting.
Ooh.
Oh, your kids' stuff.
Yeah, like their
Yeah.
old teeth.
The worst. The worst.
There was a show The Neighborhood
can't.
was on the other day, and I don't know if you ever watched this, but there's these two guys, Calvin and I forget the other guy's name, but they're the sons, and the mother comes along, and the one kid's going to get married, so he starts throwing stuff out, and there's a little bag with his baby teeth in it. So
Oh, I have that.
Oh, I
a
have
baby-
a cute little like wooden
I
jar like
have-
Christina's baby teeth.
I have a little ceramic part.
Yes,
of
my
baby-
mom had got me this cute little holder. It's like a tiny little holder.
I have all the baby teeth too. The ones that didn't go.
Okay.
Right.
So what are we going to do with those?
sell
That
them.
my kids will have to figure that out.
I was like, where can
My
I
kids will
sell
have
the
to
baby
figure that out
teeth?
down the line.
Where do the baby teeth go?
Very good
market for
question. Yeah.
I really like your kids stuff though. Have them claim it. It's like, listen, this is yours. It's
Yeah.
Like, take it or leave it.
Yeah.
You know?
So many people
tried.
have the
Yeah.
crib, the bicycles, the toys, the games and
Oh,
toys.
I couldn't
That I
wait
didn't
to
do.
get this stuff
It's
out.
about me.
Yeah, and games and toys.
Yeah.
There's you can really repurpose because the younger kids do play. That is used. Where I said, like younger generation is not using the furniture, but they are using like Scrabble and board games and things like that,
Electronics.
or comics.
Electronic games.
Electronic games now, anything that's not hooked up to the internet is worth more than anything that is, like Ataris.
Really?
Yeah, or like those, you know how they had TVs and you put like something in it to play. Those are worth more now than any kind of electronics.
Really? Huh.
Yeah.
Because I think it's like a huge market for this like vintage, like retro nostalgia. I mean, because I'm a sucker for it. We were just talking, with like Polaroids. Like I love a Polaroid, and I think it's like these kind of, things people are, certainly gravitating towards. So, there you go. How do you gotta save the electronic games?
Okay. Books. We talked about books, right? Did I said Greg, right?
Yes.
Did luggage.
If you have books,
women's
Dan will
shelter,
take
that's-
them.
Yeah, I like that.
That's a great idea.
That's
I like
great about the luggage.
Women's shelter.
Yeah,
That's a great
yeah,
idea.
because they
Yeah.
all need.
Oh, I
I
just
didn't even
I
think of
just
that.
got rid
Yeah.
of luggage
Yeah.
too. That's
a-
too bad.
But that's another one where the
didn't
old
think of
luggage
that.
is just, you can't pull it on wheels or anything else, so
if it's broken, not
is it
Yeah.
worth anything?
If it's broken,
No,
no.
no.
No, I mean,
But-
even if it's not broken, but it's not handy. It's cumbersome.
Well, yeah, people will. Yeah,
Yeah.
a homeless shelter, a woman's shelter,
okay.
anybody like that would
Yeah.
take. Sure.
Okay.
Linens and towels.
Yeah,
Every
animal
animal
shelter,
that
that's
comes
great.
into an animal shelter needs a
Yeah,
bed.
that's great too.
So they keep bringing in new animals, and so they have to keep getting replenished. And I know the one in Port Washington, I just
sure. Yeah.
leave it there. You just
Great.
put it in a bag, leave it outside, and
they take
they
it.
take it in. Yeah.
Well, Barbara, before we are rapidly almost ending, give us a good contact number I want to get in before we end our segment. For
me?
you. Yep.
Oh, 917-656-6688. 85.
Well, I cannot believe we are at the end of the segment. We could literally talk to Barbara. We're going to have her on again.
Right.
Talk about, winter cleaning or whatever it might be. I'd like to thank you so much, Barbara Feldman, for joining us. Such wonderful information. So many golden nuggets. You're listening to Project Independence and You on LIU Public Radio.